Hey guys, it's Papa Steve on the move. You know, every year there's a few pieces of gear that I take out of my kit for the next year. Some are great pieces of gear that I love and just replace for one reason or another. And some are actually regrets that I ever bought in the first place. You know, if you haven't already subscribed, why don't you do that now so you don't miss any of the great content coming up. So I keep my kit fairly small. My backpack, I'm always looking to either improve one of three things: to improve comfort, to decrease weight, or to improve utility. To that end, there's always a few things each year that I leave out of my pack and a few things that I add in. So for 2021, I've got 5 different things that I'll be changing up. Now, first of all, I want to be clear that these are strictly my opinions. I buy all my own gear. I'm not sponsored, so anything I endorse is my opinion only. It's highly subjective. You guys might love some of the stuff I don't, and that's okay. So the first item up is the Thermarest Pro-Lite sleeping pad. I really like this pad. I've kept it around because my wife prefers it to my new one. It's a self-inflating pad, which makes it really handy when you're into camp. It's a little bit difficult to deflate, but that's all par for the course. It's 20 inches wide by 72 inches long by 1 inch thick. And the RV rating is a 2.4. Now RV rating, that's the number. The higher the number, the more insulating value it's gonna have when you're on the ground. This one's made out of a 50D poly, so it makes it pretty resistant to punctures, and it's a pretty good pad. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with this pad. My new one is the Nemo Astrolite. Now this one's made out of a 20D poly, so a little more susceptible to punctures. I kind of got to watch where I put it down on the ground, kick some rocks out of the way. It's exactly the same width and length as the Thermarest one, 20 inches by 72 inches. But this one is 3.5 inches thick. It's a little more comfortable to lay on. It's also got an RV value of 2.6, so it keeps me a little bit warmer on the cold ground. Now, these are pretty comparable pads. The main reason, though, that I've stopped using the Thermarest for 2021 is size. The Nemo Astro is just that much smaller in my pack. And when you compare that, I mean, this one is, it's like 2/3 the size of this one, and that real estate in your backpack on multi-day trips is really valuable. So for that reason alone, the Thermarest Pro-Lite, sorry, it's going back into the storage. For 2021, I'll be using just the Nemo Astro. Now the second item up is the Rick Steves microfiber towel. Now I've been packing this thing with me on travels everywhere I go. It always finds its way into my suitcase. It's a great travel towel. Now it's made to pretty much replace your bath towel when you're on the road. Now I started bringing it with me in my pack, but I found the towel is just too big. Like when I'm swimming, I didn't need the big bath towel, and it was too big to use around camp for a tea towel or a cloth. So I found the bulk of it just wasn't quite useful, and I went out and bought one of these little pack towels. It's pretty much the same microfiber material, but it comes in its little stuff sack. You know, it dries really fast, and the utility of it just was a lot more useful than the big towel. So for that reason alone, sorry Rick, but the microfiber towel is going back in the suitcase for 2021. Third item up is a Marmot Trestles synthetic fill sleeping bag. Now when I first started getting back into backpacking a couple years back, I went out and bought 2 of these things. I did my reviews. They were great. They were really light. They came with their own stuff sacks, and they were 3-season rated. So when I got them home and I packed my backpack, I found this thing took up a lot of room. So I had to actually pack it underneath the pack. And that's not really where you want to keep your sleeping bag. So I wound up selling those bags, and I bought myself a nice down Thermarest Questar bag. I was a little too cheap to invest in down in the first place, and I'll tell you, all you beginners getting into backpacking and backcountry camping, definitely don't make that mistake. Go out, spend some money, find yourself a nice down bag, and invest in a good 3-season down bag, because you're gonna love it. It's takes up way less space in your pack, and it's way lighter. And this Thermarest Questar is actually made out of hydrophobic down, which makes it a lot more resilient. It kind of, you can squeeze it down, it puffs back up really high, and it's 90% more resilient to water. So it's going to absorb a lot less water, which means drying it out in a wet tent or something is going to be critical. So for that reason, I sold those Trestles bags, the Marmots. For that reason, for sure, you will not see them in my pack in 2021. Now, the fourth item is actually 2 items. I've got the Meko Crank flashlight and the Black Diamond Astro headlamp. And I used to bring both of these with me. Now, the Meko hand crank actually works because it doesn't take any batteries. So you could crank it up and turn it on, and it works. It's a flashlight. It's got a solar panel on the side, and all around it was a very good, useful item. And the headlamp, of course, you need for hands-free. Goes on your head, and I still use it for biking or when I'm moving really fast and I need something like that. But these no longer come in my pack for one main reason. I bought this Fenix E18R rechargeable light. I mean, look at the size. This thing's super tiny. It's super powerful. It's got 4 different settings, and the utility of this thing is just fantastic. It's got a clip that clips onto the front of my hat to replace my headlamp, and it's got a little hook here where I put something I can put a carabiner up on the top of the tent and use this as a lantern. And I've never had to charge it in the field. The battery lasts for days. So for that reason, these 2 flashlights are hitting the old chest. Last item up is the Sawyer Squeeze water filter. Now, I've done a review on this thing, comparing it to my new filter, the Platypus Gravity Works 4-liter. And I'll leave you a link for that here and down in the comments. So I won't get into it all now, but I bought the Sawyer Micro Squeeze first, and that thing totally failed on me in the field. No amount of back flushing was going to clean that filter out. I had to boil water all weekend just to get me home. But I did go out and get another one, this Sawyer Mini Squeeze, which still works. I mean, I have to carry this bag of gear around with it. So there's a squeeze bag. I bought a new squeeze bag, an aftermarket one, but you got the back flush filter in there as well. And with this gear, it's still pretty small, packs up light. It works. It's a good filter. But the Platypus, it's an all-in-one. I mean, this thing filters a lot of water really fast, really easy. And you can check out my video for a demo. But for that reason, the Sawyer Squeeze water filter definitely will not be coming in my backpack in 2021. So that's my 5 items I'm leaving out for this year. Curious to know what you guys think. Leave me some comments down below, or contact me on social media. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can find links down below in the comments. Hope you guys continue to like and subscribe. Till then, I'll see you on the trail. It's Papa Steve on the move.